So this is the S&P 500 index, and it has made a strong rebound. Last week we were here, it was about 65% rebound from this drop. So I think it has added a little bit more already. It has rebounded more like 70% from the low. Okay, so in this situation is getting bullish, for S&P 500. The main thing that is driving this whole run, right, is mainly the tech sector in the US, which has this is the Nasdaq 100, and it has already rebounded to make this meeting its high from its previous pre-COVID time. Okay, so this is mainly the tech sector, the biggest tech like your Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and such. The gold is still trading in the sideways pattern and is trading just below the 1,800 line. This is the resistance where if it breaks above this 1,008, right, it's more likely to carry on the upward trend. Okay, so we just have to be mindful what is happening here on the gold. If there are a lot of unrest, war, because right now we have a lot of tensions between the US and China. And now US is basically stopped criticizing China for a few days. Mainly they have their own unrest that's happening in US itself. A lot of riotings and protests, which is to me what I look is quite severe. But I don't think there's much damage to the economy because the whole economy is closed. By the way, in terms of economic damage, I don't think there is that much on the effect. Okay, this is the US Sing dollars. Why I bring this up is because the past 2 weeks, we have seen the weakening of the US dollars against the Sing dollars. All right, so this is important is because when we trade into stocks that are denominated in the US dollar, you might be buying at the US dollar high, and then when you sell for profit, right, you notice that the US dollar had dropped, and then it eats into your profits. So this is one of the reasons why um, if you are not careful with this exchange rate and you are trying to trade contra, this is something that you have to be mindful of. Okay, and one last one that I would like to show you guys is this is the crude palm oil futures listed in the Malaysia. Okay, and in the past 3 weeks, we have a nice rebound, a nice rally over here. And what it shows to me is that this is a very strong support, 194 something. Okay, 1,009 here. So this rebound is also quite a nice rebound. We might be expecting some pullback soon, and then may continue its upward trend. So this is something in which we can look at into commodity stocks like Wilmar, Streetrend Agro, Golden Agri, and such. Okay. So at this moment, the market we've seen for the past 3 days has been very bullish in Singapore. Mainly is that we are trying to do a catch up with regional equities. Okay, if we look at like this is Thailand. I've been doing quite a nice run. Indonesia, similar pattern as Singapore. Okay, and we have the Vietnam. Vietnam and Thailand are the few biggest one in Southeast Asia. And this is quite a nice run from Vietnam, making a nice rebound. So if we look at Hong Kong because of the unrest and China, but recently the rebound together with Singapore has been quite a nice one, this rebound. And China, I think China will be the one that might be leading us or the whole world out of this whole economic mess, done by the pandemic. So currently it's trying to stay above this 200-day moving average. We'll see how it will pan out, from here. Okay, so this is the Singapore index. It has been rallying, and today it had made a breakout from this previous high, a new high. Okay, so we've now today's move, right, is one of the longest range, quite positive, up 88 points. We may expect maybe a one more day rally, before it starts to consolidate. And if it can consolidate just above the support resistance support here, about 2007, 2006, 2007 area, if you can trade sideways and all that, right, is a very positive sign. Okay, so at this moment we already rallied 3 days, so don't be in a hurry to chase stocks, to rush in, especially today, late afternoon, we are starting to see quite a lot of selling in the big cap stocks. Okay, so let's go through some of the big caps. This is the Ascenders REIT. All right. So for the past 2 days, we already start to see some selling happening. The good sign is there is not much volume. Okay, so it may be a pullback. So if you like this stock, we can look into investing into this. If it starts to pull back around above this $3 area, all right, over here. This is Capital Corp mentioned like 2-3 weeks ago over here that we might be looking more on the upside. So what it did, it break out this resistance, pull back, and then start to move up again together with the market. And be mindful that there is a $7.35 partial offer by Temasek Holding. Most likely will be about $7.10 excluding the dividend. So it could be a possible reason why this stock is trading or has been trending quite well, this rebound. Okay, Yang Zhejiang mentioned 3 weeks ago somewhere here. This is a stock that I want to look into investing or trading in the midterm, for like 2 months to 6 months period. Mainly because it has done quite a nice pattern here. It's formed a nice base, and here recently is together with the market break above the 200-day moving average. By if it trades and tests this resistance about 107, it will be a very bullish thing. It's forming a nice cup and handle pattern. Okay, so if you can test here, pull back, do some nice consolidation and breakout, it is a very bullish move for Yang Zhejiang. So we can be looking into investing in this, or midterm trade. This is Jardine CNC. It's a very big cap stock. Okay, it has been having a nice move. City development, same too, similar. Not too sure what is pushing them, but it is a very broad market. People investing in the SDI, they have to buy this as part of the funds. Similarly with CapitaLand. Okay, so these two big caps. The small caps like Hobie, Wing Tai, Tuan all this has not much movement in them. Okay, this is Capital Mall Trust. Mentioned the past 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks ago my video I mentioned that what I'm expecting is the commercial sector, the REITs, commercial REITs, retail REITs, they are going to move. Okay, which is somewhere around this area. So I've mentioned some like Capital Mall, Capital Com, Fraser Centrepoint, So now he has made this move and he has made a very big tail. So there are some selling that's happening in this area. There's a lot of volume today. So most likely we'll be expecting some consolidation pullback. Similarly for Capital Commercial. Okay, do bear in mind these two are going to be merged into one entity, Capital Mall. So if you want to buy, don't buy two, just buy one would be good enough. Okay, SIA. SIA, 2 weeks ago I mentioned that I'm not comfortable investing or buying SIA because of this low low travel or occupancy rate or something, for their passenger load. So in this case, I'm wrong in this case. It seems that the opening seems to be very positive for SIA. People are expecting it to make money, turn around very fast. Okay, so what it's showing me now is that it's likely to be there's some selling, profit taking happening. Most likely it's going to pull back. So in this pullback, right, if it's a nice and gentle pullback, we can be looking to buy SIA. All right, and since they have already starting to announce good news, opening up in July to certain regions, so we can see how this one turns out. Okay, and look to invest in this if you like SIA. This is dairy farm. Okay, this is the banks. Okay, the three banks are the ones that move very much for the SDI today, causing this 88 points upward move. And the banks have the biggest, some of the biggest weightage besides Singtel, that affects the move on SDI. So this is DBS. It break off this resistance yesterday and move off. Today is a nice move. Okay, so with this, you can look into a pullback. We hope you can see a pullback, and from there you can look to buy or invest in the banks. I mean, three banks, you just pick one. No need to buy all three. For me personally, I pick OCBC Bank. Okay, so most of you have known me that I bought some here, about $8 plus for some of you guys. So I bought some here, and then I bought some again, for some over here, right? And basically OCBC had already moved off, similar with DBS. So similar fashion for UOB is the same thing as broken above the previous resistance. So we like to see if there's a pullback, nice pullback to enter, to trade this move. Okay, and if you look at the rest like OCBC, DBS, they are all trading still quite a distance from the 200-day moving average, which poses as a natural resistance. That's where you can look at to trade if you are planning to trade. If you are planning to invest, then forget it. We just hold on to whatever that we have bought and accumulated previously. This is quite a nice one, ST Engineering, with a lot of government contracts. So this is something which people or retailers would like to invest in also. So this is nice pattern testing the resistance. So in the next week, hopefully you can see this pullback below this resistance. And then if it's tight, with low volume, we can look to buy into this, and prepare for the next run. Okay, this is SGX, the one that is weak. Okay, it has already shown a lot of distribution signals. Over this day, 27 May, it announced that it has cut or lose its licensing to the MSCI index to Hong Kong Exchange. Okay, so these are mainly the stocks in a broad market that caused the SDI to move. So on the stocks that I've mentioned in the past few weeks that has moved, this is Fraser Centerpoint Trust. In the video I mentioned, it was only at this bar, this particular bar, it just broke out. So it has already consolidated and moved up together at this price. So it's showing some signs of some selling consolidation to be happening, and it's testing its 200-day moving average. From here, we would like to see if it can consolidate nicely, form another small little base like 1 to 2 weeks. And if you like this stock, you can look to invest in this. Okay, this is Centerpoint Trust dealing in retail malls. So personally, I didn't invest in this. I invested in Capital Commercial. SPH REIT. This is a stock I mentioned also 2 weeks ago that I like this. You can invest in this because of its 23% exposure to the Paragon Medical Center. So it found a nice base, and recently it has also broke off with the rest of the REIT sector. Okay, so from here, similarly, we want to see how it pullbacks. If it's nice, low volume, we still can enter into the stock. This is land lease. Okay, mentioned previously a few times on this day. Okay, 27 May, on my previous video, and it has broke off very nice, nice rebound. Okay, so most of it are having the same thing. Just have to wait for a pullback. Do not chase stock. pullback, and then we can look to see if we can accumulate more of this if you like this. Okay, so if you have these are mainly retail malls, so if you have a few retail malls, then do not buy too many. If you want to buy a lot of REITs, then it's best to buy like a Nico M REIT or Lion Philip REIT ETF, that just invest in all the different REITs, and that might save you the trouble. Okay, this also Sasha REIT mentioned in the past 2 to 3 videos. Okay, first time mentioning is was somewhere around here last week, and then now this week it has this move and then it's consolidating sideways. So this is quite positive. From here, I might be expecting it to make another move, probably to about 86 cents. If you can trade in a tight range sideways. This is Star Hill. Similarly, retail malls. Okay, I also have a very nice move. So a lot of the nice move has been done by mainly the retail malls and the commercial malls and the logistics space. Previously, I showed you Ascenders REIT. Okay, Keppel DC REIT is something that I'm a little bit concerned. Is that after breaking out this new all-time high, it has this sell-off happening. Okay, and it's not just this company, but also like Maple Tree Industry. Maple Tree Industry. There's a selling happening, and Maple Logistic. Okay, there's some selling in the past few days. Okay, so these are a little bit of my concern. They mean by because they might have made a lot of money here, they sell here and then they bought the other REITs, to improve their profits. Okay, so in, this is showing because these are the leaders in the REITs industries. What is telling me that the in the short term maybe we'll be experiencing a pullback, probably a shallow pullback, and then from there we might be looking to go long again. All right. So at this moment, like I'm going to repeat again, do not chase stock if the market is very bullish. This is Manulife REIT. In my last video, I'm right over here. I mentioned that this one is like a spring. It's being compressed and it might be burst out anytime. And in the next 2 days, Thursday, Friday, it just move off like this. All right. So in here, we should be also looking into taking some partial profits. This is a big move. Okay, and then you can just hold on and trail, see how far this can move off. Okay, so as I mentioned about this one, right, it's mainly more on the trading. Okay, so let's look at some of the medical stocks. Previously, they are in the euphoric mode. Okay, as I previously mentioned, it's in a euphoria. So right now, it's already there's a lot of selling, profit taking happening. Okay, with such things happening, most likely it's going to range bound sideways. Okay, with big movement. So I think we don't need to trade these stocks anymore already. This sector is kind of like gone in the short term. All right, this is a top growth, similar fashion. Okay, so this sector is last week already mentioned it's a euphoric move. So once there is a euphoric move, please understand it's almost the end of the run. Okay, so this is MedTech. Similarly, all right, we'll have a move. Now this is quite unusual because the volume is very low. All right, but just do bear in mind the whole sector is gone because firstly, I mean, we think of fundamental reasons, right? Is that the economy is opening up, and there will be less of this medical equipments being needed in the near future. So that's why they might be, discounting the future earnings of these companies. Right. So just be mindful. Okay, just now I mentioned about the crude palm oil. So let's look at Wilmar. Okay, Wilmar is it did not move with the rest. I think the rest is like much better prospect. So right now Wilmar is doing a nice consolidation with a tight pattern, a tight handle over here, and it's closing at 4, which is nice close. So we will see this if it might move off, the next few days or even next week. All right, this is Wilmar. Mentioned before, Sri Trang. Sri Trang has a euphoric move. So uh, there you see. Once a euphoric move, there will be a big selling. So when this happens, we can forget about this for the next 1 month. Right. One thing that I'm still holding, this is Jaffa. Jaffa today closed higher at 675. Okay, so most likely there will be a lot of sellers still trapped here. So I think we should not discount this particular resistance at about 69 cents. And you see you can break off this to trade higher. Okay. So on top of this, there is also a locust news that I posted this morning that India is facing one of their worst locust invasion. So probably in terms of food supply from India and whatever is going to be decreased, and it might be positive for us Asian commodity stocks here. So as of the crude palm oil prices, golden. If you like penny stocks, I don't know when golden agri became like a penny stock counter, but it's a nice move. Okay, recently just broke this intermediate resistance, and do note that there is one overhead here. Okay, yeah, so it's forming a base. You can look into trading, wait for a pullback, a rest, and then we can see if we can trade on the high side. Thai beverage. Okay, last week I mentioned that over here there's a lot of volume happening, and I mentioned that something might happen over here. So in similar fashion with the broad market, very high volume coming in to buy up this Thai beverage, this move, and it's testing the resistance at this moment. Okay, so if you can rest, sideways in a tight pattern, you'll form a nice cup and handle pattern. We can look to trade this right with upside to about 81 cents. Okay, let's see if we can reach there. Yeah, so somewhere there about 80 to 81 cents. So we want to see this. So most likely next week we just be mindful of this stock. Next week, let it rest for a few days and then it move off. If it break off already, still don't lose heart. Wait for it to pull back. If it's a nice pullback, we can trade at a higher price, and most likely it might trade even higher. Okay, so we just be mindful of this. This is quite a nice stock. Not in terms of fundamental, but in terms of the chart, how it moves. Okay, one sector that might be moving or that had moved is the oil sector, more on the penny stocks. I've mentioned before Keppel Corp. So this is Rex International. Okay, yes, broke off. I mentioned first time over here. It's move off, pull back, nice pullback, and then it break out a new high. All right. So this is quite a euphoric move. If you have this, you should probably be taking profits really, and we will look for a new setup to enter. Okay, this is Mermaid. Okay, recently just moved off a little, and Sam Marine. As much as I do not wish, it usually has such move lah. No one big strong move in the past also. You always does a one day wonder and then fail to perform. No, one day wonder, one day wonder. one day wonder and come down, one day wonder comes down. So I mean, even if you have this, I'm also not too keen, because of its past history. One day wonder and then it starts to go down some more. So yeah. So previously I talked about gold. If you want to trade gold on the penny stocks, for higher percentage gain. This is CNMC gold mine. All right. Nice pattern here. It moved off due to the testing of the 1008 resistance in the gold market. So it's been trading sideways, seeing what is going to happen next. If there are more, if you start to see gold price starting to head off higher, break out 1008 and this one have a move, you should be looking into this. This is Yoma Strategic, mentioned also before somewhere here, somewhere around here, 20th. Okay, that they enter into a agreement with N Financial to do remittance micro loans in the Myanmar market. So therefore the bullishness in this. So from here, I mean this is already a move off already. So from here we like to see a new base to form. Okay, so we are almost to the end of this. Just Hong Kong market. I'm looking mainly in three stocks. For those who look at the Hong Kong, Hai Di Lao mentioned many times. First time was somewhere here. It moved off, break test, and then here test the its all-time high price. So from here, most likely it might be, it might start to. For me, personally, I wish to see that this form a nice pattern, a nice consolidation, rest over here, right below. And then if it break off, we can trade into this, especially when the market is still good. Yihai International are the ones that supply the condiments to um, Hai Di Lao. And previously I was mentioning is somewhere here uh, in May. It has already moved off higher at 72. And this stock is something that interests me a lot. Okay, this is Homeland International. They deal in here is put package software lah, but they deal in uh, online mahjong and casino. Okay, so if you don't like this vices, then don't trade this. One thing I mentioned why I see this is that it has a 50% return on equity, which means to say whatever they invest in, their rate of return right is very high, a very profitable company. Okay, and it's a new IPO stock, and it's been making a new high. Now it's forming a nice big base pattern, and recently broke off against this. So from here, we like to see how if you can trade sideways and then it start to move higher, we can look to buy into this. Okay, you tend to have this nice move. Okay, so this is Homeland. Okay, so now we reach to the end. I'd like to say in summary, what are stocks we should be really focusing at? Uh, One thing is Wilmar. You know, I really like this pattern. I'm already invested here somewhere in 392. Okay, and hopefully this one can break off on the upside and continue its move. And why also this is that so mentioned before way back in the 2009 after it recovered right from the great financial crisis, it has a very nice move. It recovered earlier than most of the companies, most of the stocks, and it had this great fantastic move. So I'm waiting to see if it's going to happen for the same thing right over here. Okay, so i- overall in the whole Singapore market, this has already rebounded quite well compared to the rest of the big cap stocks. So it's doing this nice, and hopefully once it broke off, it can sustain a long-term uptrend. Yang okay, in the short to mid-term, long-term trend, this is likely to turn up due to some fundamentals is cheap, P7, dividend yield 4.5%. Okay, and of course some of the this one I've not mentioned just now. Okay, this is Capital Retail China Trust, mainly because the China market has already started to open up. All right, and so this is having exposure for the Chinese market, and it's forming a nice pattern at the moment. So if we can trade like sideways for the next week, 1 week, we can look to a upside. If we break up, you can look into investing into this or trading this stock on the upside. Okay, and if it does that, it's going to be turning up. You know, so yeah. Okay, so these are the three stocks that I'll be looking at to trade. The rest, right? You can see which are the stocks that you prefer to trade. This three that I mentioned in summary is that they have not really moved off as compared to the broad market. The broad market has already moved up a lot, and therefore we should not be chasing price. We should wait for them to come down, consolidate a little, and then we look for opportunity to enter the market. All right. So, do you guys have any questions? Thank you, guys. We are come to the end of the meeting.